Hello. Today, we're going to continue our conversation about government. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Constitution. The Constitution basically functions as the user's guide to our republic. The document is loosely written so that it may be changed to fit the needs of the nation, whatever they may be. We even have an amendment that repeals or gets rid of a previous amendment. The Constitution also outlines the powers and responsibilities of each representative that we elect, and also those that we don't elect, like judges. Perhaps most importantly, the Constitution also serves as the foundation of our personal rights as citizens. There are 27 amendments to the Constitution, and the first 10 are referred to as the Bill of Rights. And we're going to talk about those first 10 and maybe a couple others right now. So, the First Amendment reads that Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. And in plain English, what that's trying to tell us is that there will be no established state religion and there will be no law preventing freedom of religion. The citizens will have the freedom to speak their minds, to meet together, and to bring their complaints before the government without fear of reprisals from that government. The press will also have the freedom to say what they want without government interference. The Second Amendment reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In plain English, the Second Amendment is trying to tell us because the security of the nation depends on a well-armed populace, the people will have the right to own and use guns. The Third Amendment reads, no soldier shall, in time of peace, be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in a time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. In plain English, this means that the army cannot force citizens to keep soldiers in their houses against their will, not even in a time of war. Now, this is an interesting amendment because this was a specific problem during the Revolutionary War where the British could just kind of go and take over any house that they wanted. And the Founding Fathers wanted to make sure that that type of thing did not become normal operating procedure in their new country. The Fourth Amendment reads, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And what this means is that the government will not be able to search or take away anyone's documents or property without a very good reason, or a search warrant describing the place to be searched and the items to be taken away. And the Fifth Amendment. This one is a doozy. It literally reads, no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger, nor shall any person be subject for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. In plain English, this means that nobody can be held for committing a capital offense or felony unless they have been indicted, except in cases relating to the military in wartime or when the public is in danger. Nobody can be tried twice for the same crime or be forced to testify against themselves or have their life, liberty, or property taken away without due process of law, or have their private property be taken away for public use without receiving adequate compensation. And Amendment 6 is another doozy. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. In plain English, what this is trying to say is that whenever somebody is being tried for a crime, they will have a speedy trial by an impartial jury made up of people from the state and district where the crime was committed. They will be informed of the charges against them and will be confronted with the people who are testifying against them. They will also have the right to be defended by a lawyer. The Seventh Amendment literally reads, in suits at common law where the value in controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise re-examined in any court of the United States than according to the rules of common law. In plain English, whenever a civil case is heard in a federal court where the amount in question is over $20, the case will be heard by a jury and can only be heard once. The Eighth Amendment reads, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. In plain English, there will not be any extraordinarily large fines or any cruel and unusual punishments for the guilty, or any excessive amount posted for bail. The Ninth Amendment reads, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. In plain English, just because certain rights aren't identified in these amendments doesn't mean there aren't others that are still just as important that belong to the people. And the 10th Amendment reads, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved for the states respectively or to the people. And again, any power that has not been given to the federal government by the Constitution will be given to the state governments or the people. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Amendments 13, 14, and 15. And these are drafted right after the Civil War, and they're generally trying to extend the same basic rights to blacks that whites had already enjoyed. So the 13th Amendment literally reads, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. And what this means is that slavery is abolished, except as a punishment for crimes. So the 13th Amendment is the amendment that gets rid of slavery. Amendment 14 reads, all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. And, in plain English, this defines citizenship and guarantees the rights of all citizens, at least male ones. We're going to talk about women a little bit down the line a little bit. And the 15th Amendment reads, the right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of race, color, or previous condition of servitude. And this literally means African American males were guaranteed the right to vote, and that race, color, or previous condition of servitude, i.e., being a slave, could not be used as a reason to refuse anybody the right to vote. And now we're going to look at a couple other of the important amendments to the Constitution. And we're going to start with the 18th Amendment. And the 18th Amendment reads, after 1 year from the ratification of this article, the manufacture, sale, or transportation of intoxicating liquors within, the importation thereof into, or the exportation thereof from the United States and all territories subject to the jurisdiction thereof for beverage purposes is hereby prohibited. And that's a lot of words, but it's a short translation. The manufacture and distribution of alcohol is prohibited. Now, don't become too attached to this one because it's going to go away. The 19th Amendment reads, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex." Again, that's a lot of words to simply state that the right to vote cannot be denied because of a person's gender. This is where women get the right to vote. I told you not to become too attached to that 18th Amendment, and here's why. Because the 21st Amendment literally reads, "The 18th article of amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed." And in plain English, prohibition ends, alcohol manufacture and distribution are once again legal. This is a lot of words for Amendment 22. It says that no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when this article was proposed by Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which this article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. That is a mouthful. In plain English, what that is doing is setting term limits upon the president, stating that nobody can be elected to the presidency more than twice. It does kind of give a little bit of a loophole, saying that if you've served under 2 years of somebody else's term because they died, you still have the right to seek 2 terms of your own, which means you can technically be president for 10 years. It's also stating that this does not affect Franklin Roosevelt because he was the current president. This is in direct relation to him getting elected 4 times, but it's stating that it's not going to tell him that he can't continue to run for more terms. So he's kind of grandfathered in. The 26th Amendment guarantees the rights of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote. And it literally says the right of citizens of the United States who are 18 years of age or older to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of age. And in plain English, that means that we've established that the minimum age requirement for voting is going to be lowered from 21 to 18. So I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I miss you guys, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys soon. Bye.